The Galactic Council's assumption. The Galactic Council chamber buzzed with light and energy as delegates from various star systems gathered to discuss the latest intelligence reports. The Council was an ancient institution, tasked with maintaining order across the galaxy. It was filled with beings of great wisdom, or so they believed. On this particular day, the focus was on a small, seemingly insignificant planet called Earth. High Chancellor Valor, a tall, silver-skinned figure with glowing eyes, stood at the center of the room. In his hand, he held a glowing datapad displaying Earth's details. Humans, he began with a smirk, a primitive species, barely capable of interstellar communication. Their technology is outdated, their defenses laughable. A perfect candidate for resource extraction. The delegates murmured in agreement. Earth was located on the edge of the galaxy, far from any major trade routes. Its people had barely ventured beyond their own solar system. To the Galactic Council, it was a backwater world with no allies and no chance of resisting their superior forces. A hologram flickered to life in the center of the chamber, showing Earth's cities, military forces, and technology. The visuals elicited chuckles from the council members. A delegate from the Zither system, a reptilian being with scales that shimmered like oil, hissed in amusement. Look at their flying machines. They rely on combustion engines. How quaint. Another delegate, a crystalline entity from the Frathic system, chimed in. Their so-called space fleet consists of metal tubes held together with rivets. They're not even armed with basic plasma shields. If this is their best, they're no threat to us. The laughter grew louder as more images were displayed. Humans launching satellites, astronauts floating in zero gravity, and fighter jets performing aerial maneuvers. To the council, it was a comedy show, a reminder of how far they had advanced compared to this tiny blue planet. Veller raised a hand to silence the room. Enough, he said, though his tone was amused. We must treat this matter with professionalism. While Earth is no threat, it does hold resources we can use. Its oceans, minerals, and biological materials will benefit the greater galaxy. I propose we send a scouting mission to assess the planet and prepare for annexation. A murmur of approval swept through the chamber. No one questioned Valor's plan. Why would they? Earth was an easy target. The Galactic Council had conquered far more advanced civilizations with minimal effort. This would be no different. Who will lead the mission? Asked a delegate with glowing tendrils for arms. Valor turned to Commander Zaldrin, a seasoned officer of the Galactic Fleet. The commander's metallic armor glinted under the chamber's lights as he stepped forward. I will personally oversee the operation, Zaldrin said, his voice cold and mechanical. I will take a fleet of reconnaissance ships to Earth. We will observe, report, and, if necessary, neutralize any resistance. The Council nodded in approval. Zaldrin was known for his efficiency and ruthlessness. If Earth showed even a hint of defiance, he would crush it without hesitation. As the meeting concluded, Valor approached Zaldrin. Remember, the Chancellor said, we are dealing with primitives. Do not waste resources on them. A single display of our power should be enough to bring them to their knees. Zaldrin nodded. They will surrender before they even know what hit them. Meanwhile, on the outskirts of the galaxy, the fleet prepared for departure. Sleek, black ships with glowing blue thrusters lined the hangars, their weapons systems humming with energy. Inside one of the ships, a young alien pilot named Lyrics reviewed the mission briefing. Like many others, Lyrics assumed this mission would be a simple exercise, a chance to observe a backward species and perhaps fire a warning shot or two. It was almost disappointing how easy it seemed. As the fleet launched, its ships disappearing into hyperspace, the Galactic Council returned to their usual discussions. They had no doubt about the outcome of the mission. Earth would be conquered, its people subdued, and its resources claimed. But far away, on the unassuming planet, something stirred. Humanity had long been underestimated, not just by the Galactic Council, but by others as well. Their history was one of survival, adaptation, and ingenuity. They had faced wars, natural disasters, and countless challenges, always finding a way to endure. What the Galactic Council didn't know, and what they were about to learn, was that humans had a way of surprising those who underestimated them. The skies above Earth were calm and blue, with no sign of the impending danger. But deep inside military bases, pilots were training, engineers were innovating, and leaders were preparing for threats they couldn't yet see. The air fleet, with its swift jets and stealth technology, stood ready. The Galactic Council thought Earth was weak. They couldn't have been more wrong. The first clash was coming, and it would change everything. The arrival of the alien scouts. The galactic fleet emerged from hyperspace just beyond Earth's moon, their sleek black ships blending with the void of space. Commander Zaldrin stood on the bridge of his flagship, observing the pale blue planet through a massive viewport. His mechanical voice echoed in the silence as he addressed the crew. "Mark this day. Earth will remember it as the moment they learned their place in the galaxy." Around him, officers and technicians moved with calculated precision. They were confident, almost bored. Earth, after all, was considered a minor assignment, barely worth their full attention. Their fleet's cloaking technology made them invisible to human radar, and their ship's shields could deflect anything primitive Earth might throw at them. A curious encounter as the fleet descended closer, they picked up the first signs of human activity. Satellites drifted lazily in orbit, their outdated technology amusing to the alien crew. One officer chuckled. "These humans still use physical structures to relay signals. It's like watching children play with sticks." Zaldrin ignored the remark. "Send out the scouts," he ordered. "I want a full analysis of their planetary defenses. Keep it quiet. I want no unnecessary engagement." Two sleek reconnaissance ships broke away from the fleet, slipping through Earth's atmosphere without so much as a ripple. The pilots, seasoned veterans of countless missions, expected nothing more than a routine survey. Their scanners picked up Earth's major cities, highways, and even remote villages, painting a vivid picture of life on the planet. But as they neared Earth's military installations, something unexpected happened. Human detection, the first scout ship, hovered above a sprawling military base, hidden deep in the mountains. Rows of fighter jets and bombers gleamed in the sunlight, their pilots engaged in high-speed drills. From above, the scouts transmitted real-time footage back to the flagship. The alien crew, watching from the comfort of their high-tech bridge, laughed at the sight. "Do they think those ancient machines can protect them?" An officer sneered. But Commander Zaldrin frowned. Something about the humans' movements caught his attention. The jets moved in precise formations, their pilots executing tight, coordinated maneuvers. These weren't the erratic movements of a disorganized species. This was disciplined, tactical training. "Commander," the reconnaissance pilot reported, "we are detecting unusual energy spikes near the base. Their radar systems are adapting." Adapting. Zaldrin's brow furrowed. That shouldn't have been possible. Human technology was decades, perhaps centuries, behind theirs. Yet even as the cloaked ships hovered, Earth's radar systems began to lock onto their position. "Impossible," an officer muttered. "Their systems shouldn't even register us." The scout ships activated stealth protocols, but it was too late. Alarms blared across the human base, and within moments, jets roared to life, speeding into the skies with astonishing speed. The aliens were taken aback. These primitive machines weren't retreating. They were advancing. A bold response, the first wave of human jets swarmed the area, splitting into formations that surrounded the invisible ships. The pilots communicated calmly, their voices steady over the radio. To the aliens' surprise, the humans began firing tracer rounds in tight patterns, not aiming to hit anything, but to map out the invisible threat in the sky. "Commander," the scout pilot said, panic creeping into his voice, "we're compromised. They're using ballistic trajectories to pinpoint our location." Zaldrin's eyes narrowed. "Break off and return to the fleet. Do not engage." But it was too late for one of the scouts. A human jet, moving at an angle the aliens hadn't anticipated, suddenly unleashed a flurry of experimental missiles. One struck the scout's cloaking field, causing the alien ship to flicker briefly into visibility. The sight of the sleek, otherworldly craft sent a ripple of shock through the human pilots. But they didn't hesitate. They pressed their advantage, forcing the alien ship into evasive maneuvers. The first loss on the flagship, Zaldrin watched as one of the scout ships spiraled out of control, its systems overwhelmed by a combination of human firepower and the planet's dense atmosphere. The ship crashed into the ocean, sending up a massive plume of water. The second scout barely escaped, limping back to the fleet with heavy damage. The silence on the flagship was palpable. For the first time in his long career, Zaldrin felt a flicker of doubt. This was not how the mission was supposed to go. Earth's technology might have been primitive, but its people were resourceful and bold. "Commander," said an officer, his voice shaky, "should we deploy reinforcements?" Zaldrin's eyes remained fixed on the blue planet below. "No," he said slowly. "Not yet. I want to know more about these humans before we proceed. There's more to them than we expected." Unseen resolve back on Earth, the human pilots returned to base, buzzing with excitement and confusion. They had seen something extraordinary, something they couldn't explain. But they didn't need explanations. They needed preparation. Deep inside a command bunker, General Samantha Hayes watched the radar readouts with a grim expression. "This was no ordinary anomaly," she said to her staff. "We're not alone anymore. And whoever they are, they're watching us." The order went out: double the drills, test the experimental tech, and prepare for the unknown. Earth's skies were no longer quiet, and humanity wasn't about to let an alien threat take them by surprise. In the depths of space, the galactic fleet watched and waited, unaware that their assumptions about humanity had already begun to unravel. The first clash was over, but the real battle was just beginning. Earth's strange military tactics. From the moment Commander Zaldrin returned to his flagship after the disastrous scout mission, he knew something was different about Earth. His fleet had conquered countless worlds, yet no species had responded to their presence so quickly or with such strategic precision. But Earth's response wasn't just tactical, it was peculiar. And that worried him. Unexpected defiance hovering in low orbit, the galactic fleet observed Earth's military movements. Human jets crisscrossed the skies, their activity unusually high for a species supposedly at peace. Aircraft carriers positioned themselves across key oceanic choke points, and satellite relays began redirecting signals at an alarming rate. "What are they doing?" Zaldrin muttered. The humans weren't panicking like most civilizations did upon first contact. They weren't broadcasting messages of surrender or launching desperate attacks. Instead, they were preparing. A junior officer brought up a live feed from one of the remaining scout drones. It showed a desert military base where dozens of human pilots gathered around a holographic display. Their commanding officer, General Samantha Hayes, was outlining a bold and seemingly reckless strategy. "They're moving their fleets into smaller, scattered units," the officer explained. "It's inefficient, or deliberate," Zaldrin corrected. His mechanical voice carried a tone of intrigue. He leaned forward, studying the humans' moves. "They're creating decoys. They want us to underestimate their true strength." The aliens were used to species that relied on brute force or static defense. Humans, however, were exploiting their environment, using clouds, mountains, and even oceans to their advantage. The tactics were unconventional, almost chaotic, but somehow effective. The first skirmish, a small squadron of alien fighters was dispatched to test Earth's air defenses. Cloaked and armed with plasma cannons, they approached undetected, or so they thought. As they neared the coast of a bustling city, the human response was swift. Jets scrambled into the air, appearing as if from nowhere. The alien pilots engaged, confident in their superior firepower. Yet, to their surprise, the humans didn't attack directly. Instead, they used their surroundings to confuse and outmaneuver their opponents. A flight of human jets lured the aliens into a narrow canyon. The alien pilots hesitated, their ships too large and advanced to navigate such tight spaces. Moments later, hidden surface-to-air missiles launched from the canyon walls, catching the aliens completely off guard. 2 alien ships exploded in fiery bursts, the rest retreating in disarray. Back on the flagship, Zaldrun seethed. "They're baiting us like prey hunters," he said, slamming a metallic fist onto the control panel. "This isn't luck. They're studying us." The game of cat and mouse for the next 48 hours, the galactic fleet found itself locked in a strange game of cat and mouse. Human jets appeared on the edges of radar scans, only to vanish into dense cloud cover or the blind spots of the alien ships. Recon drones reported strange patterns in human movements, faint signals that seemed random but always led the aliens into vulnerable positions. In one instance, an alien patrol was drawn into a thunderstorm over the Atlantic Ocean. Human jets, equipped with experimental stealth technology, used the storm to mask their approach. Lightning illuminated the skies as missiles streaked through the air, taking out the alien patrol before they could react. "Primitive," one alien officer muttered, his voice trembling. "They're fighting like seasoned predators." Zaldrun couldn't deny it. The humans weren't just fighting. They were learning. Each skirmish revealed more about the aliens' weaknesses, and the humans adapted faster than anyone anticipated. A growing unease deep within the Galactic Fleet's command center, the officers began to question their mission. Reports of losses trickled in, each one more baffling than the last. How could a species with no plasma shields, no advanced propulsion systems, and no interstellar weaponry pose such a challenge? "They fight with an intensity I've never seen," one officer said during a briefing. "It's not just skill. It's desperation." "Not desperation," Zaldrun corrected. "Determination." Despite his frustration, he couldn't help but admire the humans' resilience. They fought as if every battle was personal, as if every pilot had something to lose. It was a stark contrast to the Galactic Fleet's cold, calculated efficiency. The aliens fought for conquest. The humans fought for survival. Unconventional warfare, one of the most surprising moments, came when the aliens detected a strange signal emanating from a remote island. Believing it to be a hidden human base, they sent a small strike team to investigate. What they found defied all logic. The island was empty, save for a single decoy, an old fighter jet rigged with explosives. When the aliens approached, the jet detonated, creating a massive electromagnetic pulse that temporarily disabled their systems. Moments later, human jets swooped in, eliminating the incapacitated alien ships with precision strikes. Zaldrun watched the footage in silence. The humans had sacrificed one of their own machines to lure and destroy a superior enemy. It was reckless, resourceful, and entirely unpredictable. "They're not following any rules," Zaldrun muttered, his mechanical fingers tapping rhythmically on the control panel. "They're rewriting them." The silent warning as the alien fleet regrouped, Earth's military sent a clear message. A broadcast, short but powerful, echoed through the Galactic Fleet's communication channels. It was General Hayes, standing tall in her flight suit, her voice calm but resolute. "You came here thinking we were weak," she said, her words cutting through the static. "You're wrong. This is our home, and we will defend it with everything we have. If you're looking for an easy fight, turn back now, because the next time you come, we won't be so kind." The message ended, leaving the Galactic Fleet in stunned silence. For the first time, they realized this wasn't just another conquest. Earth was different. Its people were different. And the battle was far from over. The trap is sprung. The Galactic Fleet, battered but undeterred, recalibrated its approach. Commander Zaldrun, now more cautious than ever, studied Earth's movements with a quiet intensity. The humans had proven to be clever and unpredictable, but he was determined to outmatch them. "We underestimated them once. Zaldrin said, his glowing eyes fixed on the tactical hologram hovering before him. It will not happen again. Prepare the fleet for a precision strike. The decoy strategy unknown to Zaldrin, Earth's military command had devised a bold plan. General Samantha Hayes, standing before her team of tacticians, outlined the operation. "They think they're hunting us," she said, her voice steady. "It's time we turn the tables." The humans set up a decoy fleet near the Pacific Ocean, positioning older fighter jets and drones to mimic the appearance of an active military force. Meanwhile, the real air fleet, armed with experimental hypersonic missiles and advanced radar systems, lay hidden beneath a storm system farther east. "Let them come to us," Hayes said, her gaze sharp, "and when they do, we'll show them what humanity is capable of." The alien advance Zaldrin's fleet moved with calculated precision, sending out squadrons to encircle the decoy fleet. Alien ships, cloaked and bristling with advanced weaponry, descended upon the human positions. From the aliens' perspective, it was an easy target. Their scans detected what appeared to be Earth's main air fleet, clustered, exposed, and vulnerable. "Launch the strike," Zaldrin ordered, a grim smile spreading across his metallic face. "Show them the futility of resistance." The alien ships fired, their plasma cannons lighting up the night sky. Explosions ripped through the decoy fleet, sending debris raining into the ocean below. The aliens believed they had delivered a crippling blow. But as the smoke cleared, something strange happened. The debris began to scatter unnaturally, revealing the truth. There, hollow, an alien pilot stammered. The decoys were nothing more than shells. Empty, unarmed machines designed to mislead. Before the aliens could react, Earth's real air fleet struck. The ambush out of the storm clouds, a squadron of human jets burst forth, their engines roaring like thunder. Advanced stealth technology had hidden them from alien sensors until it was too late. The first wave of hypersonic missiles tore through the alien formation, disabling their shields and sending ships spiraling into the ocean. "What is this?" Zaldrin roared, his metallic hands gripping the edges of his console. "How did we not detect them?" The answer was simple. Earth's pilots had exploited the one thing the galactic fleet had never accounted for: weather. The storm acted as both camouflage and interference, masking their approach and giving them the element of surprise. The tide turns in the chaos that followed. The humans executed their plan with surgical precision. Pilots like Captain Mira Rice, a rising star in the air fleet, led daring maneuvers that left the alien ship scrambling. Mira's squadron weaved through the enemy lines, targeting weak points with pinpoint accuracy. "Focus on their thrusters and communication relays," Mira instructed over the radio. "If they can't move or talk, they're sitting ducks." Her words proved true. One by one, the alien ships faltered. Their advanced technology, while formidable, struggled to adapt to the humans' relentless and unorthodox tactics. On the ground, missile batteries hidden along the coast launched volleys of experimental warheads. These weapons, designed specifically to counter alien plasma shields, detonated in brilliant flashes of energy. Entire sections of the alien fleet were engulfed, their once impenetrable defenses crumbling under the assault. Zaldrin's dilemma back on the flagship, Zaldrin faced a grim reality. The humans had not only outmaneuvered his forces, but had also exploited their overconfidence. His fleet was losing ships faster than they could regroup, and every attempt to counterattack was met with fierce resistance. "How is this possible?" An officer muttered, his voice trembling. "They're primitive. They shouldn't." "They're not primitive," Zaldrin interrupted, his tone sharp. "They're predators, and we've walked straight into their trap." He weighed his options. Retreat was unthinkable. It would be a humiliation he couldn't bear. Yet continuing the fight risked losing even more ships and resources. For the first time, doubt crept into his mind. A daring gamble desperate to regain the upper hand, Zaldrin ordered a concentrated assault on the human flagship, a heavily armored aircraft carrier stationed near the heart of the battle. If he could destroy their command center, perhaps the humans would falter. But as the alien ships approached the carrier, they found themselves caught in a new trap. Submerged beneath the ocean's surface, human submarines launched devastating torpedoes, targeting the alien ships' underbellies, an angle they hadn't fought to protect. Explosions erupted beneath the waves, sending alien ships crashing into the water. The human carrier remained unscathed, its crew cheering as the aliens were forced to retreat. The aftermath, as the battered remnants of the galactic fleet limped back into orbit, Zaldrin stood silently on the bridge of his flagship. His confidence, once unshakable, was now fractured. Earth had proven to be far more dangerous than he had ever imagined. On the ground, General Hayes watched the alien retreat with a steely gaze. "This is just the beginning," she said to her staff. "They'll be back. And when they come, we'll be ready." In the skies above, Captain Mira Rice led her squadron back to base. Her voice crackled over the radio as she addressed her team. "We've shown them what we're made of. Let's make sure they never forget it." The battle was over, but the war was far from decided. Both sides knew the conflict was only just beginning, and that the next encounter would be even more decisive. Humans fight with heart. The galactic fleet, though battered and humiliated, remained stationed at the edge of Earth's atmosphere. Commander Zaldrin, now painfully aware of humanity's unexpected resourcefulness, prepared for a second wave. This time, he vowed, there would be no mistakes. What he didn't understand, what no alien could understand, was the force driving the humans forward. Their unyielding spirit. The human resolve. Captain Mira Rice stood on the deck of the U.S. Horizon, Earth's flagship aircraft carrier, as it cut through the Pacific Ocean. The salty breeze filled the air, but Mira's mind was focused elsewhere. She glanced at a photograph tucked into her flight suit, her family, smiling back at her. It was a reminder of why she fought. "All pilots to briefing." The intercom blared. Mira tucked the photo back into her pocket and headed to the briefing room, where General Samantha Hayes addressed the assembled team. "The aliens will come harder this time," Hayes said, her voice firm. "They underestimated us once. They won't make that mistake again, but they don't understand us. They don't understand what it means to fight for more than survival, for family, for freedom, for everything we hold dear." The room erupted in cheers. Each pilot knew what was at stake. For them, this wasn't just a battle for Earth. It was a battle for the right to live without fear, to carve their own future among the stars. The galactic fleet regroups on the alien flagship. Commander Zaldrin studied Earth's defenses with cold precision. He had learned his lesson from the previous skirmishes. Humanity could not be dismissed. But he still believed their victory had been a fluke, an anomaly born from desperation. "Deploy the Apex-class warships," Zaldrin ordered, his mechanical voice cutting through the air. "Humans thrive in chaos. Let's see how they handle overwhelming firepower." The Apex-class warships, massive vessels armed with planet-cracking weapons, were rarely deployed. Their presence in Earth's orbit was a testament to how much the humans had shaken the galactic fleet. As the colossal ships activated, they cast long shadows over Earth's surface, a grim warning of what was to come. The aerial showdown, as alien forces descended, Mira and her squadron soared into the skies. The human jets, while outdated compared to the alien ships, were piloted with a level of skill and creativity that no machine could replicate. Mira's squadron engaged the enemy, weaving through plasma fire with breathtaking precision. "Raise, on your 6, a voice crackled over the radio. Mira glanced back to see an alien fighter closing in, its weapons charging. With a sharp pull of the stick, she executed an impossible corkscrew maneuver, slipping behind the alien ship and unleashing a missile that turned it into a fireball. "Nice move, Captain," her wingman called out. "It's not about the ship," Mira replied, a smile tugging at her lips. "It's about the pilot." The turning point, As the battle raged in the skies, Earth's ground forces launched a bold countermeasure. A team of engineers had developed an experimental electromagnetic railgun, capable of piercing even the most advanced alien shields. Positioned on a remote island in the Pacific, the railgun was humanity's last hope of neutralizing the Apex-class warships. General Hayes herself oversaw the operation. "Fire on my command," she ordered, watching the massive alien ships move into position. The railgun's hum grew louder, its power building to a crescendo. At the same time, Mira's squadron was tasked with keeping the aliens distracted. "We can't let them target the railgun," Hayes had told them. "Buy us time." Mira led her team directly into the heart of the alien formation. It was a suicide mission, but no one hesitated. "Stay tight," Mira commanded. "We hit them where it hurts." The human jets zigzagged through the alien fleet, drawing fire away from the railgun. Despite their smaller size and weaker firepower, they struck with precision, taking out key alien systems and forcing their ships into disarray. "The strike fire," General Hayes shouted. The railgun unleashed its payload, a massive projectile traveling at hypersonic speed. The weapon struck the lead Apex-class warship, piercing its shield and igniting its core. A deafening explosion lit up the sky as the colossal ship broke apart, its pieces falling into Earth's atmosphere like fiery meteors. The destruction of the Apex-class warship sent shockwaves through the galactic fleet. For the first time, the aliens realized they were not invincible. On the ground, cheers erupted as the first major victory was claimed. But in the skies, the battle was far from over. Mira's sacrifice amid the chaos. Mira's jet took a hit, her controls sparking as the cockpit filled with smoke. "I'm hit," she called out, her voice strained but steady. "You need to eject," her wingman urged. "Not yet," Mira replied, her eyes locked on a disabled alien ship hurtling toward the railgun. If it crashed, it would take the weapon and Earth's best chance of survival with it. Mira made a split-second decision. Ignoring the alarms blaring in her cockpit, she pushed her jet to its limits, colliding with the alien ship and knocking it off course. Both crafts spiraled into the ocean below, disappearing in a plume of water and fire. The price of victory, Mira's sacrifice, bought the railgun enough time to reload. Another Apex-class warship fell, and the remaining alien forces began to retreat. On the alien flagship, Zaldrin clenched his metallic fists. The humans had won again, but at what cost? On the ground, General Hayes delivered the news to her team. "We lost one of our best today," she said, her voice heavy. "But Captain Rice didn't die in vain. Her courage reminds us of what we're fighting for." As the sun set over the battlefield, the humans knew their fight was far from over. But in that moment, they stood united, their hearts burning with the determination to protect their world, no matter the odds. The turning point. The galactic fleet was reeling. For the first time in centuries, they had suffered a defeat that could not be explained by luck or chance. Earth had proven itself to be more than a minor annoyance. It had become a genuine threat. Commander Zaldrin paced the bridge of his flagship, his mind racing for a solution. "We cannot let this stand," he growled. "Prepare the Dread Vanguard. We will crush them with overwhelming force." The human countermove on Earth, the air was heavy with grief and resolve. The loss of Captain Mira Rice had galvanized humanity. Her sacrifice became a rallying cry, her name spoken with reverence in every briefing room and command center. General Samantha Hayes addressed the global coalition of military leaders via a secure network. "They will come at us with everything they have," she said, "but we faced impossible odds before. This time, we're not just defending Earth. We're showing the galaxy what it means to be human." Hayes unveiled a bold strategy. The remnants of Earth's air fleet would act as decoys once again, drawing the galactic fleet into a trap. Meanwhile, a secret weapon, codenamed Horizon's Edge, would be deployed. The weapon, a hybrid of human ingenuity and reverse-engineered alien tech, had the potential to turn the tide of the war. "We've adapted to their technology," Hayes explained, "but they can't adapt to our spirit." The Dread Vanguard arrives. The Galactic Fleet launched its final assault with the Dread Vanguard, an armada of warships designed to obliterate entire civilizations. These massive ships, bristling with weapons and shields, were virtually unstoppable. As they descended toward Earth, their size alone cast cities into shadow. Zeldrin watched from his command station, a grim satisfaction settling over him. Their defiance ends today. The Vanguard targeted Earth's major cities and military installations. Plasma cannons lit up the skies, their power carving through mountains and seas. Yet even as destruction rained down, humanity refused to break. Earth strikes back from deep within Earth's oceans. Hidden submarines and mobile launch platforms began their counterattack. Missiles streaked into the sky, striking the Dread Vanguard's shields with relentless precision. Though most missiles were intercepted, each strike tested the limits of the alien defenses. Then came the fighter jets. In a daring move, Earth's pilots engaged directly with the Vanguard. They weaved through plasma fire, exploiting blind spots and weak points that had been meticulously mapped during previous skirmishes. One by one, the Vanguard's outer defenses began to falter. Still, it wasn't enough. The humans were running out of time, and the Dread Vanguard continued its assault. The unveiling of Horizon's Edge, with the battle reaching a critical point, General Hayes gave the order. Activate Horizon's Edge. From a hidden installation buried beneath the Rocky Mountains, a colossal energy pulse erupted into the sky. The weapon, a massive orbital disruptor, locked onto the Dread Vanguard's flagship. Using a combination of alien power cores and human engineering, it fired a beam of energy that pierced the ship's shields and struck its propulsion systems. The flagship shuddered, its engines failing. Alarms blared across the Galactic Fleet as the Vanguard's centerpiece began to drift, vulnerable for the first time. The fight within the Vanguard seizing the opportunity, a covert human strike team launched a desperate mission to infiltrate the disabled flagship. Led by Major Elena Carter, the team used experimental cloaking suits to evade detection as they boarded the alien vessel. Their mission: sabotage the ship's command core and force a full retreat. Inside the ship, the humans faced an alien environment of shifting corridors and biomechanical constructs. Despite the odds, Carter's team moved with precision, planting charges and disabling key systems. When they reached the command core, they encountered resistance, alien soldiers armed with advanced weaponry. Carter's team fought fiercely, using guerrilla tactics to overcome the aliens. They succeeded in planting the final charges, but the cost was high. As the countdown began, Carter stayed behind to ensure the detonation, her voice calm as she radioed her final message. "Tell them we never stopped fighting." The Vanguard falls, the charges detonated, sending shockwaves through the flagship. Explosions rippled across the ship's surface, tearing it apart piece by piece. The destruction triggered a chain reaction, forcing the remaining Vanguard ships to retreat to avoid being caught in the blast. On the ground, humanity watched as the once invincible Dread Vanguard collapsed. Cheers erupted from military bases and cities alike, but the victory was bittersweet. The cost had been immense, and the war was far from over. Zeldrin's realization from his escape pod. Zeldrin stared at the burning wreckage of his flagship. For the first time, he felt something alien to him. Fear. Humanity had proven to be more than a nuisance. They were adaptable, relentless, and driven by something the Galactic Fleet couldn't understand. As he drifted back toward the safety of the fleet, Zeldrin muttered to himself, "We came to conquer, but we have awakened a storm." The aftermath on Earth. General Hayes addressed the world. "Today, we showed the galaxy that we are not weak. We are not alone. And we will never surrender." Captain Rice, Major Carter, and every soul who gave their life today did so for a future we will build together. The people of Earth mourned their losses but stood taller than ever. The aliens had learned a lesson they wouldn't soon forget. Humanity was a force unlike any other in the galaxy. The battle was over, but the war was far from decided. Humanity had earned a moment of peace, but they knew the galactic fleet would return. And next time, they would be even stronger. The humans' message. The dread Vanguard's shattered remains drifted in orbit, glowing embers against the black canvas of space. Earth's defenders, weary but unbroken, looked to the sky with both relief and caution. The victory was theirs, but the war's echoes still rumbled through their hearts. A galactic reckoning onboard the remains of his battered fleet, Commander Xaldrin convened an emergency meeting with the Galactic Council via holographic transmission. The council chambers, once filled with smug certainty, now buzzed with a mix of confusion and outrage. "You have failed us," Xaldrin, High Chancellor Valor declared, his glowing eyes narrowing. "A primitive species has brought shame to the galactic fleet. How do you explain this disgrace?" Xaldrin, his voice heavy, responded, "They are not what we believed. Humanity is unlike any species we've encountered. They fight with strategies born from desperation and innovation. They adapt faster than we can predict, and they do not fear us." His word hung in the air, unsettling the council. For the first time in millennia, the galaxy's rulers realized they had underestimated not just a species, but an entire planet. Earth's unity on Earth, the victory brought a sense of global unity unseen in centuries. Leaders from every nation gathered in a secure, underground bunker for a historic summit. General Samantha Hayes stood at the head of the table, flanked by engineers, scientists, and military strategists. "Their retreat is temporary," Hayes said, her voice firm. "The galactic fleet will regroup, and next time, they'll come with even greater force. If we want to survive, we need to prepare." Among the plans discussed was the creation of the Unified Earth Defense Alliance, UEDA, a coalition of Earth's best minds and resources. This initiative aimed to develop advanced technologies, fortify planetary defenses, and, most importantly, take humanity's first steps into interstellar exploration. But Hayes had another idea. "We need to send a message, not just to the galactic fleet, but to every species in the galaxy. Earth is not a target. We are a force." The broadcast, with the help of reverse-engineered alien technology, Earth's brightest scientists devised a way to hijack the Galactic Council's communication network. It was risky, but necessary. If humanity was to survive, they needed to show strength. The message was delivered by none other than General Hayes. Dressed in her combat uniform, she stood against the backdrop of Earth's air fleet, her voice resolute as it echoed across the stars. "To the Galactic Council and all who watch, this is General Samantha Hayes, speaking on behalf of Earth. You came here believing we were weak. You sought to conquer and subjugate us. But you were wrong. We are humanity. We are survivors, innovators, and fighters. For centuries, we have faced challenges that tested our very existence, and we have always prevailed. Your fleet has tasted defeat, not because of our weapons, but because of our spirit. Earth is not your colony. We are not your prey. And if you come for us again, we will not only defend ourselves, we will ensure that you regret the day you underestimated us." The broadcast ended with a simple but powerful image. The flags of Earth's nations unified under one banner, with the words, "Humanity stands united," emblazoned beneath. The galactic response, the message spread like wildfire across the galaxy, reaching planets and systems far beyond the Council's reach. For the first time, oppressed species learned of Earth's defiance. The story of humanity's resistance inspired hope in civilizations that had long since given up on freedom. On the Galactic Council's capital world, unrest began to brew. Delegates whispered of Earth as a potential ally or, worse, a future rival. High Chancellor Valor, furious but cautious, called for an emergency session. "We must decide how to handle this anomaly," Valor said. "If left unchecked, Earth could become a beacon for rebellion." But not all council members agreed. A few dared to suggest that humanity's ingenuity might be worth studying rather than suppressing. The seeds of division within the Council had been sown, and Earth was the catalyst. The human spirit back on Earth, Captain Mira Rice's sacrifice, and Major Carter's heroic actions became symbols of the planet's resilience. Statues were erected in their honor, their names etched into history as reminders of what humanity could achieve when united. General Hayes, watching from her command post, reflected on what lay ahead. The battle had shown humanity's strength, but it had also revealed their vulnerability. They had won a reprieve, but the galaxy was vast, and Earth's enemies were many. Standing before a crowd of pilots, soldiers, and civilians, Hayes delivered a speech that echoed across the world. Today, we are no longer just a planet. We are a voice, a force, a promise to ourselves and to the galaxy that we will never bow to tyranny. Let this be the beginning of a new chapter, not of survival, but of exploration, innovation, and unyielding hope. A new dawn as Earth's leaders began preparations for the next encounter. Humanity's greatest minds turned their focus to the stars. Scientists worked tirelessly to reverse engineer alien technology, while explorers dreamed of venturing beyond the solar system. In the skies above, humanity's air fleet patrolled tirelessly, a symbol of their readiness to defend their home. On the horizon, the first prototypes of Earth's own interstellar ships began to take shape, promising a future where humanity would no longer wait for the stars to come to them. They would reach for the stars themselves. The final message: the galactic fleet withdrew to the fringes of the galaxy, but their surveillance drones remained, silently watching Earth. Commander Xaldrin, now a reluctant admirer of humanity, left one final note in his log. Earth is not weak. They are not to be underestimated. They fight not with weapons alone, but with a fire that burns in their hearts. If we are to face them again, it must be with respect, or not at all. And so, humanity's story shifted. What began as a tale of survival became one of defiance and hope, a reminder to the galaxy that sometimes the smallest voices carry the loudest echoes.